Hey guys, welcome back to ZBR. Today on the show, we're back with some regular season predictions, this time for the NFC. We're going to go through division by division and talk about our thoughts on each of them. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to be covering the NFC. We're going to start with the South. I think I probably have the most interesting records out of all of us. I have the Bucks 3-14, and they lose their first 12 games. And I know they're pretty good on defense, and they have some star players, but I just don't see them winning a whole lot of games. I think it's going to be a terrible year to be a Bucks fan. I don't know what you guys how you feel there.
No, I don't think you're very close at all. I think losing the first 12 is very, very, very dramatic. That's a lot. 12 games in a row is a lot. That's a really, really bad team. And they still have playmakers on offense, and I think Baker can. I think he can be a low-end game manager, and if he does that, I think they're a decent team. Because they still have some playmakers on defense, too. I think they'll have a good run D. I don't know about their pass defense, but yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a little suspect. I don't really have them being a great football team. I think they're going to be competitive because Todd Bowles has usually a pretty good defense. And, yeah, like you said, they have playmakers on offense still, so if Baker can just be, Baker like when he was like the last good year in Cleveland, I think it was like 2019, 2020, something like that. But I had them going 5-12. Yeah, they'll be competitive in a lot of games, but yeah, they're going to be lacking in some areas where they just can't make up for. And yeah, they're just going to be one of those teams. Like they could very well win nine games, honestly, but. Yeah,
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I've got
tough.
them at 10-7 personally. I've got them up at 10 wins. But I will say I definitely see how it easily could go really sour for them, and go to what you guys are saying. If Baker just looks, it is just completely washed. If there's just nothing left, and if just one injury from Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, and that's about all it would take. And neither one of them has the best track record with injuries, so. It's totally possible they could be really bad.
Game to game, Mike Evans isn't very consistent, but the end year stats usually look pretty damn good.
The big playability is what he brings.
Godwin's really the X factor,
probably.
The play-to-play guy. He's coming off.
Yeah,
he's coming off an injury still, and he did play last year, but this is going to be his first full healthy off season, and he's just going to hopefully produce to make that team at least competitive. It really, honestly, it comes down to his health and Baker Mayfield being just a game manager.
They have a couple of running backs that aren't too bad either. Had pretty decent seasons last year. I think one of them rushed for over 1,000 yards, and one of them he had a good receiving year. I don't remember his numbers though off the top of my head.
I think they have a couple injuries to their offensive line too.
Yeah, that's not good.
Entirely sure on that. I think
because I don't think their offensive line was that good to begin with. I can pull up their projections from PFF real quick, but it wasn't good. If I remember, I was just looking at it a minute ago. They were bottom tier.
It's impressive that they're probably not that good, and Tom Brady was that good of evading pressure, or I guess sacks. Just by maneuvering.
Yeah, well, that offensive line was better then than it is now. And they actually have them about middle of the pack. They have them ranked 14th, just above your Vikings at 15th.
That's actually...
And I will say, all these rankings that I have and that I use today are... they were from before the preseason started. So I don't know how PFF might have adjusted according to the preseason.
Well, 14th to probably 18th, 19th. That's still middle of the pack defense. Offensive line. Yeah, that's respectable. That's
they actually got their defense projected pretty low. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I know it's one of these two. It's pretty low. Oh no, I guess I'm wrong. Middle of the pack again. Yep, middle of the pack again. 20th.
Yeah, they could very well be an 8-9 win team if they hit their ceiling. For sure.
Absolutely. So speaking of a 9-win team, though, I think the Falcons are about a 9-win team. I think they've got a lot of upside, and I think some people might be a little too down on Ritter. I don't think he's going to be a star, and I don't think he's going to be great, but he's a young dude. He can move around. He's got weapons there. Bijan Robinson.
He can win some football games.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson will be taking a whole lot of workload off him, at least we think. Although I heard someone the other day on a podcast making a really good point that Atlanta's taken a skill position like the last 3, 4, or 5 years or something like that, and none of them have panned out.
Well, this would probably definitely be different.
That far. I mean, Drake London, he had a pretty decent year for a rookie, but yeah, it's hit or miss, really. I mean, they have a lot of talent on offense, that's for sure. I think they got a good
London
run
shows
game.
promise. Yeah, London shows promise,
sure.
and Kyle Pitts is solid.
Yeah, I think, and with that being said, I think that's an 8-win team, so we're not far off, honestly. It's going to be a kind of a rough start to their season. I think they have them losing 3 of their first 4 games, and then kind of a rough patch in the middle of the season. Another 3-game losing streak, but yeah, kind of an up-and-down football team like they've been the last, I don't know how many years, so I don't know really how well their defense is. I'd have to look at PFF's grades on that, but to me, they're just like an average team.
Falcons, it's not good. I know that one for sure. I think it was one of the bottom 2.
Been kind of a sieve for a long time.
They're 28th. Projected 28th.
We're in Vikings territory here. Our defense.
Skull.
Catching strays. Yeah, Skull.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I predict the Falcons going 7-10, pretty similar to Brady's. Lose their first 3 out of the 4, and I think the reason they win a lot of their games is because of Bijan Robinson.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think he's going to be dynamic. I'm pretty excited about him. He might go do all running backs a favor. Maybe make them some more money. You never know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. But you never know.
It's just the way it is now.
Yeah.
They used to be a running back.
You guys had the Falcons only winning 1 game in their first 4.
In their first 4, and that's actually
which
Green
game?
Bay.
Okay. I had them winning.
They beat Green Bay.
I had them beating the Panthers and the Packers. But I have them going on a pretty big losing streak in the middle of the year.
And maybe they win 11 games in surprise, but do I think they're actual contenders if that happens? No. Truly, I don't think any team from this division's a real contender.
Not a chance.
Yeah, nothing unless
Not
Bryce Young is just that dude, which we could.
There's no quarterback or defense in this division that justifies any kind of contentionship.
But yeah, like I said,
Absolutely
unless that's
not.
Bryce Young for the Panthers, in which we can start on that one too, which I have them going 8-9 as well.
I was going to transition that with losing streaks, but yeah, we can do it with Bryce Young, unless Reed's got something else to add about the Falcons.
Nothing to add, but my Panthers prediction's pretty out there, I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
After sitting down and reflecting on it. But I have them going 12-5. And
what?
Their only losses are I know, right?
Yeah, I need to I'm going through the schedule. That's crazy.
They lose at Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
They lose at home to the Vikings.
Okay.
They lose at Tennessee, at Tampa, and at New Orleans, and that's it.
Wow. We are far off from that. I have them 8-9. I think they get off to a good start, 2-0, but then they just go on a 4-game losing streak into their bye. Then they're going to beat the Texans coming out of the bye, because I think I have the Texans as one of the worst football teams in the league, and I think CJ Stroud's a bust.
And I'm pretty sure the Panthers just lost a wide receiver as well.
Did they? That's not good. Yeah, no, this is an average
What did you say
football
about their
team.
wide receivers?
I think they just lost one to injury for a little while. I can't remember.
Do you know which one?
Pretty
Don't worry,
important
they
one.
have
DJ Chark.
Adam Thielen, though. Oh.
DJ Chark.
DJ Chark's hamstring.
Yeah, that's not good. Those things tend to
Yeah, and
linger.
Thielen, and Thielen's going to have a hammy that's going to linger throughout the season, too.
Guaranteed.
So
He probably already does.
Yeah, it kind of pains me to see him in any uniform. It's kind of seeing Adrian Peterson or Randy Moss when he left. That was just so
Adrian
weird.
Peterson should have never been outside of a Vikings uniform, other than his
Even-
OU
yeah.
days.
Yeah.
As a
and
pro,
even-
he should have never
and
won
even,
anything in a Vikings uniform.
And even though Jared Allen started his career in KC, I thought it was so weird seeing him not in a Vikings uniform, like when he went to Chicago. I thought that was gross.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he looked weird in a Chiefs uniform, but
Yeah. That is a team
But,
he got drafted by, so I can't. Yeah, it is weird. Everyone thinks of him as a Viking for sure. Not to get too off topic of this, but yeah.
Yeah, but Reed's 12-5 is especially funny to me because I have them 5-12, the exact opposite. I have them dropping
Nice.
every single game going up to their bye, and then a little three-win streak, and then just pretty much losses with, I think, 2 losses sprinkled in there.
Wowzer. Yeah. Yeah, they're an average to
Well-
below average football team. Do you have Bryce Young going off this year, Reed, or something?
Yeah, and if memory recall, I'm pretty sure their defense is pretty good.
Their defense
It's not too bad.
took a bit of a step back last year. Their defense was pretty good the year before that. It had a little bit of regression last year, and from what I was reading on PFF, they lost a couple of players. PFF has them projected as the number 22 defense.
And I'm not sure who they even drafted this year either.
Yeah.
I guess they would.
I don't think the front seven is what it was 2 years ago.
I definitely need to revisit this and make some adjustments.
Here, let me go
Probably
look at
give up a lot of
offensive
picks.
line for him. I think offensive line was middle of the pack, maybe.
They better hope it's middle of the pack because Bryce Young is tiny. But yeah,
Panthers.
Yeah.
16th, yeah. It's the middle of the pack.
yeah.
But I mean,
That's-
you also got to remember that's a projection, so they could be an injury away from their best O lineman, from having the worst O line in
That's
football.
true
Yeah.
for sure.
But then again, all these, at least I know all my predictions are based off if everyone's healthy. So
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be. Yeah, that's football's crazy though, man. There's gonna be one team that just surprises and.
yeah, and I could see the Panthers being one of those teams that surprises people. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these bad teams this year, I don't feel like there's very many bad teams. I feel like most of the bad teams are at least a little frisky.
agree.
You got to take them serious. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 teams that you can pretty well step over. The Cardinals, I think, is one.
Texans for sure.
Yeah, the
If we get to
Texans.
that.
If Jordan Love isn't any good, the Packers will definitely be one of those teams.
I think y'all are sleeping on Green Bay from being terrible.
Hey, I just said if.
Yeah, I mean even
you
with Bryce,
you keep
or
saying
what's
that,
his
and
name,
it's
Jordan Love.
slowly starting to make me think, oh, well, what if Green Bay is good? So I wish you'd stop, because I don't want to think Green Bay is good. I want Green Bay to
I'm
be
not-
terrible.
Even if I'm just saying, even if Jordan Love is average to below average, that's still a good football team with a good coaching staff. You know what I mean? If you look at Aaron Rodgers' stats, he didn't really help with much with that football team as far as winning. If you put Jordan Love kind of on that team, they win probably about the same amount of games. So I'm just saying they're not going to be a 3-win team step over. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Brady.
But that's a little off topic. We can get to Green Bay here in a little bit, but on to the
that's
Saints
fair enough,
though, who I actually have winning the division at 9-8. pretty mediocre division all around. But yeah, Derek Carr gets his team into the playoffs, which they haven't been in the last couple of years, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a drought for them.
Yeah, sure is. But, I mean, I could care less for that franchise, but yeah, 9-8, very average, sneaks in just past the other two at 8.
I have them at 10-7. Not much better, but I think they're going to be a pretty solid football team all around.
Really?
And yeah,
So
Derek Carr
Kamara
makes them that
suspended
much
for the
better.
first
I don't
3
believe I
games.
have them. I don't believe I have them making the playoffs. So
At 10-7? Oh yeah, I guess you have Carolina.
Yeah.
12 games. I don't know. I think 10 wins in the NFC might get you in the playoffs, but I guess we'll go into the divisions and find out why. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have a different 10-7 team getting in over them.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I think they're just going to be a very consistently, like, average team. I think just, like, pretty, like, the embodiment of Derek Carr. Like, I'm trying to think of how to say it. Just the defense won't be great, but it won't be terrible. The receivers won't be
Yeah.
great, but they won't be terrible. Nothing's going to be terrible there. They're not going to be the
and Derek
worst
Carr's
at
a good
anything,
leader.
but they're not going to be the best at anything either, I feel
Yeah.
like. But I will say that if Derek Carr could, you gotta look at Derek Carr in perspective. He is, how many coaches has that dude had in his career? He's been in the league. He's been playing quarterback for like 7-8 years now, right?
Oh, he's been in the league since Bridgewater, so this is going to be his 10th year, I think. Yeah.
Derek,
2014 is when he got drafted. So maybe
2014.
9th year. Yeah. Second round pick.
Okay, so think about all the different coaches he's been through and everything he's been through, like, with all that in Oakland. And he's remained, like, consistently, like, he's never had, like, a bad year. He's never been the best quarterback in the league, but he's never had a bad year. Maybe going to a organization with at least a little bit of, like, a tradition of winning and, like, doing, like, somewhat smart things, like, put some pieces around him. Olave's nice. If Michael Thomas isn't completely washed, I think he makes a great number 2 or number 3 receiver. Kamara might have a little bit left in the tank. I don't know. Yeah, I agree on Michael Thomas.
3 games, right?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going
sounds
to
right.
also be a little hit to their record as well. But, yeah, I like Chris Olave. He's a hell of a receiver. He should go over 1,000 yards again. Or I think he went over 1,000 yards last year as a rookie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
he's a
definitely
stud.
did.
Yeah, he had a very nice rookie year. Do you guys know who their tight end is? Off the top of your head?
Did they re-sign Jimmy Graham?
That's kind of what I was thinking was Jimmy Graham.
I really
I didn't wanna
think
say it and be wrong.
he's probably not the starter, but I think he might have signed there again. That I might be dead ass wrong here, but I could have sworn I seen something. But yeah, that's all around just an average team.
I
Yeah,
agree.
then I don't think their
Sticking to the
schedule's that hard
playoffs.
either.
You don't what?
They're gonna be tough.
I don't
at
think their
home.
schedule's that hard.
Oh, I agree. I think the whole division
Yeah.
has a pretty favorable schedule, which is part of why any one of them could really surprise you and come out of nowhere and win the division. All these teams have the potential
Oh, yeah.
to win the division easily,
For sure.
but I think the Saints
Except
are probably
the
the
Bucs.
best bet,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything
About-
to add to the Saints? Oh, sorry, my bad.
I don't
Brady.
No,
think
that-
so.
that-
no,
I don't have much to talk about there.
What's that, Reed?
I don't have much to talk about there. Just pretty average team all around that they're going to get the wins they need. I do have them winning a lot early and then losing a bunch late, but yeah,
Okay.
they get knocked out
I've
of
kind of got
playoff
them
contention
opposite.
second half of
but,
the season.
yeah. I've kind of got them opposite. But all right, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and finish up the NFC South and move on over to the NFC East, guys. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into ZBR Podcast. We're here to talk about the NFC East. We're going to lead off with the Commanders. I have them pretty mediocre this year, 3-14. I don't buy the Sam Howell hype that everyone's talking about on Twitter, X, I guess. And I could really see Ron Rivera getting fired before the end of the year. I just
Hopes
think
and
that team's
prayers.
bad. Yeah, honestly. Long overdue, really.
I haven't been on Twitter or X. I'm not on there anymore. Is there a lot of Sam Howell hype?
Well, and
Yeah.
also Ron Rivera came out with a quote saying we don't have a question mark at QB anymore. And he has looked good in preseason, but take that for...
Yeah, for what it's
it is,
worth.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What were you going to say,
So,
Reed?
yeah, no.
Yeah, I need to see Sam Howell in some regular season games before I make an official decision, but currently he is a
Yeah.
question mark. I have the Commanders
Agreed.
going 2-15.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got them 4-13, so not much better. About the same. What did you say you had them for their record, Brady?
3-14.
3-14. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I have them beating the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams. That's about it.
Cardinals, Bears, and Giants for me.
Cardinals and
It's
Giants
bad
for me.
football teams.
And
Mm.
yeah, that's just, there's no way. And also, there's no way. Their schedule's so tough. They're such a poorly put together team. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games this year. They have a couple talented players, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a rough year.
Kerry
Ron Rivera
McLaurin
gets fired
deserves
at the end of the
better.
year. It's
Yeah.
new
I
ownership.
like their receivers,
Yeah.
but that's about it. Their defensive line's nice. That's
Yeah,
receivers and
they can get
defensive
after
line
QB
is
a little bit.
a weird combination for building a team. I feel like probably
I just
not a
think
very
things
good
are
one.
going to go sour early, and there's going to be turmoil in the locker room, and just
Yeah, they got a
It's
new
gonna be
owner
bad.
now too, so who knows how that's gonna go. What if he's worse
Is that
than
Magic
what if
Johnson?
he's worse than the last one?
oh man, isn't it Magic
I
Johnson?
hope
though?
not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't be
No,
surprised
who
if
am
he's
I
got an
thinking
investment. I don't think it's someone.
He might have an
famous.
investment in him.
I don't have
Um,
anything to add to
I'd
the
have
Commanders.
I'd have to look at that. Yeah, me either. Really, they're pretty bad.
Second worst team in the league for me.
Cowboys after that. So yeah, they're going to be one of the worst. They're going to be in contention for Caleb Williams for sure. Cowboys though, I have them at 12-5. Pretty solid football team. That would be enough to win the division. I have them actually starting off the nail against the Giants, but kind of an up and down start the year. Then they'll finish strong and grab a hold of the East. Yeah, they're a solid football team. I don't know if I trust them to go very far in the playoffs, but yeah, I think they'll just barely beat the Eagles for that division.
I mostly agree with you. I have them being 10-7, but I do also feel like that's a little low on the win total. I feel like they could be a couple wins higher, but just looking at the teams I have them losing to, and I don't know how much I see them winning any of those games. I see one of them right now that they definitely could, but I think it's going to be a middle of the year loss against the Giants where they just kind of come in and sleep on them, and the Giants show up in Jerry World and maybe just kind of upset him or something.
Yep.
Just Cowboys activities. But other than that, I have them losing to the Jets, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Bills, the Seahawks, the Lions. Like, maybe the Lions. I could maybe see them winning that game. But a lot of these other teams, like, pretty good teams. And I do have the Bills losing some games late in the year, too. But, so maybe the Bills. But I don't know. I just can't buy into them. They're the Cowboys.
I have them 11-6. Solid defense. Still going to be pretty decent offense. I know Dak Prescott had a little bit of a rough outing when he came back from injury. Fun time watching Cooper Rush going on that little streak. Everyone talking about replacing Dak with Rush. Crazy talk. A couple Cowboys fans I saw. talking like that.
I think that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. But
That's bold. Replace Dak with Rush. That's
yeah,
bold.
I saw a few of those takes out there.
I mean, Dak gets a lot of shit, but he's a really good quarterback. He
could sling it. He doesn't always make the best decisions, but he can sling it.
He's a franchise QB for sure.
Yeah, he's better than anything else
have
Dallas
him.
is getting, so they need to just make the best of what they got.
They should be lucky to have that.
Yeah, I mean he's capable of throwing like 40 touchdowns in a season, especially with their receiving core now. Brandon Cooks their number 2 after CeeDee Lamb. Then they got Michael Gallup. That's a nice group. Brandon Cooks was a decent receiver in Houston last year. And that's being the only target, and like defense is honing in on him because they know he was the only one worth like paying attention to on that offense that year. And he was still putting up decent numbers for a part of the year. So
yeah,
it's a deep group.
For sure. We move on to the Eagles. Got them at 11-6. Not necessarily a Super Bowl hangover, but I think there's a little bit of regression. They're going to be probably one of the most talented teams. They might even be better than Dallas, but I just don't have them win the division. Just, a couple hiccups here in the middle of the schedule, and back-to-back losses against the Chiefs and Bills late. But
can I ask, what are those hiccups in the middle of the schedule?
The hiccups would be like at the Jets, which wouldn't be much of a hiccup. That's a competitive team. And then at the Chiefs, which is going to be hard to beat in Arrowhead. They are coming off a bye, but it's still in Arrowhead. And the Bills, got that gauntlet, Chiefs, Bills, and Niners. And then back at the Cowboys. That's a crazy, crazy rough patch there. But I have them going 2-2 in that stretch. So
yeah, that is a very rough stretch. This whole division does not have the best division or the best schedules. Especially the Eagles.
Very tough
going through it this year. But I think they're kind of a team that can handle that. I have them going 12-5, starting off fairly hot, losing their first game, but then winning their next 4. Then kind of being back and forth team, losing back-to-back games later in the year at home against 49ers and at the Cowboys, but then showing up and winning their last 4 at Seahawks, at home against the Giants on Monday night, against the Cardinals, and then at Giants. I just feel like that's a very favorable end of the year schedule. I guess it'll kind of tie into my Giants take, but I have the Giants going 6-11, and I just feel like later in the year, playing against that great of a team, even if Philly's putting in backups in like all 3 games, if I'm projecting wrong and maybe they're more dominant than I'm thinking they could be. They could be playing backups like all 3 of those games against those teams because the Giants could be mailing it in. What's their point for playing? They're 6-11, don't got a lot going. You just extended a bad quarterback, like not a lot to look forward to. And then the Eagles, their backups are playing for playing time in the playoffs and for just a chance to be a part of a Super Bowl team in general, and just got a lot more going for them. I see them being very hot at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I have
for sure
the Eagles going 15-2, best record in the NFL. I don't think they miss a beat. They drafted really well. Players on both sides of the ball should be taking the next step.
Who are their 2 losses?
2 losses would be at Jets.
Yeah.
And then at Seahawks week 15.
Okay. That's fair.
I think they're going to look scary, and they're going to be the team to beat for a couple years. As long as they're healthy.
They go off and rattle off.
They've been drafting super well.
Yeah, they rattle off.
And they've been a well-run org as of late, and it's just
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For sure.
So I think
if they rattle off the Chiefs, Bills, Niners, and Cowboys, and they win all those games, they're probably Super Bowl favorites. 100%.
We all got them losing week 6 against the Jets, though, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Sure
Pretty
do.
unanimous there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giants, though, I have them pretty much about the same as last year, 9-8. Nothing very special. Saquon's mostly their offense. They tricked up Daniel Jones to be average, I guess, and not fumble the ball as much as he's used to, or we've been used to seeing. But yeah, they'll be competitive. But yeah, 9-8's where I have them. Kind of a boring team, really. Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, 9-8. That's about what they did last year, right?
Yeah, I think that's
And
exactly
snuck
what
into
they
the playoffs.
did.
Yep. Yeah, they got a tough schedule, kind of. Like, they get against the Niners, Seahawks, and then at the Dolphins, Bills. They got to play the Jets at
Super
Dallas.
tough schedule.
Hell
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Especially for a team like them. They got to play the
Philadelphia,
Cowboys and the
then your
Eagles
last
both
two
twice.
Yeah, last two
It's a couple
against
of elite
Philadelphia, which I have them
defenses.
winning one of them. But it's a.
Their schedule is
They could
exactly
very
why I
well
have
be
them going 5-12. They
Yep.
overpaid.
Yeah, they could be more
Danny
like what
Jones.
you guys are saying, but
Yeah.
yeah, not much to really rave about that football team. That's they're in for a tough year for sure.
I just don't see them repeating what they did last year. They've got some promising young players and some other players like Darren Waller, experienced guys that are really good, but their schedule is just so tough. I do not see them winning 9 games. 5-12 for me.
I like that win total.
Yeah.
Would you have them, Zach?
I had 6-11.
6-11.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right.
does
Well, I
everyone
think that
here,
wraps
That's
it.
about all.
real quick, does everyone here think Daniel Jones was overpaid? I just want to.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
everyone on the planet thinks that.
Yeah.
Giants fans know that. I don't know why they would have attached that much money to a quarterback like that when they know they have a head coach last year as a rookie head coach who could trick up the quarterback to look decent. And why would you pay $48 million for that one? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
it
threw
could
for 15 touchdown passes last year, man.
I think if they would have
come on.
franchise tagged him, it was for $30 million, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I would have rather done that. Should have just picked up his fifth-year option like they should have and then just not even paid him. Just made him play out the rest of it. But I get why they didn't, because he was mediocre for 4 years and then all of a sudden looked average, I guess. With Brian Daboll, he was the former Bills offensive coordinator who helped develop Josh Allen. But no, I wouldn't have paid that money. Nope.
Yeah, I don't
Well-
know. I just feel like the best player on their offense, aside from Saquon Barkley, is probably Sterling Shepard, and that dude's not playing more than like 3 weeks in a season, so just not a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the year,
Not
Jalen
much else
Hyatt
to
is
say
going to be the
about that
best
team.
wide receiver on that team.
Who?
He's a
Jalen Hyatt
speedster.
out
He's
of
out of
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Came out of 10. Yeah. He had a pretty good combination with him and Hendon Hooker. He's a speedster for sure.
Well, I think that about wraps up the NFC East. Now we'll move on to the NFC West.
All right, guys, we're back with the NFC West. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Cardinals. I have them being just pretty dog shit terrible. 2-15, 0-6 in division. Only wins are back to back, the Falcons and the Texans. But other than that, there's nothing to look forward to. I don't really have anything else to say about them.
Yeah,
you know?
I also have them being pretty dog shit. Also 0-6 in the division. Their only win against the Texans, 1-16. They'll be the worst football team in the league, I think. Them and the Texans. Well, yeah, they actually
Absolutely.
eliminated the Texans, so yeah, not much else to say about that team. They're just trading away players, and I think they're just trying to tank at this point.
Yeah, they have a lot of early picks next
Yeah,
year.
also the Texans picks too. So And those are going to be good picks.
And
those will
be some nice
they're going to be
picks.
top 10
Yeah.
picks at the very least. Yeah.
And their picks will be top 10 too. So those will be some nice draft
Yeah.
years. with
Yeah,
those
they could really
picks.
build their
So,
team.
I guess if you're a Cardinals fan, you've got that to hang on
Yeah,
to.
they'll get Caleb Williams, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I have them 1-16 as well. Only win against the Falcons,
Okay.
Week 10.
Okay. Yep, dog shit team.
Fair enough. I don't want to spend a ton of time on the Cardinals, but just real quickly, if they do go real bad, terrible season like we all say, and they do draft a quarterback, what do you think they get in return for Kyler Murray?
With that contract,
What kind of value?
you're probably not getting a first round
'Cause
pick because like he's coming off an injury
Definitely
in the
not.
contract, so you're probably getting
And if it's a dog shit year,
realistically you're probably getting like a second or a third round pick, maybe a player in return, but
I feel like a third and maybe a couple, maybe like a nice, not like a nice like top tier linebacker, but like like just a nice guy. You like having him on your team. Like you could do better, but you could do a lot worse kind of player.
I mean, and Kyler at his peak, he's a human joystick, so he could really, who knows, turn his career around in some other franchise, and
I hope so. He's a lot of
he
fun.
really is.
He's a nice fantasy quarterback when he's good too.
Absolutely.
We'll see how he comes back from the injury.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on in the West to the 49ers. I think I've got them tying for best record in the NFL at 13-4. Only losses are Browns, Vikings, Skulls. Shout out you guys. The Bengals. So 3 losses in a row right there in the middle of the year. And then at home versus the Seahawks later in the year. But other than that, I just have them being pretty dominant and not doing a lot. The only question I really have about them is the quarterback stuff. But even if Brock Purdy isn't the guy, low key, I kind of think Sam Darnold might be able to do something.
Would it be cool to see him go on a run or something like that?
It would be so awesome.
I have them pretty dominant as well, winning 11 games, not quite as 13 like you have them. So that's enough to win the division. The only losses I have them is opening day against Steelers, loss against the Cowboys, the Bengals, and back-to-back loss against Seahawks, Eagles, and the Ravens. So a solid football team for sure. The only reason I have them at 11-6 and not higher is because of question mark at quarterback. If they had a steady QB, like for sure they're gonna be steady.
Imagine if they had Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, then they're going to win probably 13 games. But right now, their defense and their
I think if they had Kirk Cousins, they would contend to go undefeated.
Stop.
With how stacked that roster is. No, I'm serious. With how stacked that roster is.
Okay, so
if you put in
go ahead.
like a top 12, like you gotta at least say I don't care who you are. You gotta say Kirk's at least top 12. I would say probably top 8 quarterback in the league, and put them on what's either the first or second team built around a QB. You could argue Philly, but if it's not them, it's San Francisco, and I don't see how you stop them if they have a top tier QB.
That draft they traded up for. Do you know the players that went after Trey Lance, dude? Ridiculous. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Micah Parsons, just to name a few. Jamar Chase. Can you imagine just sitting pat at 12 where they were at and taking Micah Parsons on that defense, dude? Already?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
And add him to Bosa.
Yeah. But they gave up 3 fucking first round picks and whiffed, and they're still that good. Imagine if they would have hit on a quarterback, dude. Oh my god.
Oh man, that's crazy to think about. Or if they just
Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons on that football team. Jesus Christ, dude. That would be.
They should have been the found a way to make it work with Jimmy
dude.
G. Honestly,
or Brock Purdy. You would have had Brock Purdy still with the last pick, and you would have had Micah Parsons, bro. Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Or Jamar Chase with their already stacked receiving group. That would be insane.
Jamar Chase.
That would be crazy. And plus, then they'd probably be able to trade one of those guys and get some really nice value in return for it, probably. And add that to the defense. So then you get receiver and an upgraded defense too.
Insane.
2 for
Insane
1.
to think about.
And yeah, they would be loaded if they had.
They're already
That's
loaded.
crazy.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah.
Truth
49ers, 13-4 for me. Their only losses are at Rams, and then a 3-game losing streak late in the season at Seahawks, at Eagles, and home to the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a
Like we've been saying, super talented team. Top 8 quarterback in there. Super Bowl contenders. It's very interesting if they wouldn't have traded away those 3 first-round picks.
yeah.
What their roster would look like.
On top of what they already are, yeah, insane. It just goes to show that you can whiff on a quarterback like that and still be good. You shouldn't be afraid to take one, really. But, yeah, we can move on to the Rams if you guys want to. I have them at 7-10. Pretty mediocre. I don't think Matthew Stafford's ever going to be the same, honestly. And Sean McVay kind of has one foot out the door. So, the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, 10-7. I think they're good enough and a good enough coaching staff that they can win 10 out of 7.
That's if
for
Matthew
sure.
Stafford's healthy.
Their schedule. I think he's still got 2 years in him. I think he can play some pretty productive football still and manage a team to a Super Bowl, but not in the current state it is now. They've lost too many players. I think they'll be competitive enough and coached well enough to win 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but I don't know. I don't see that a very talented football team. But yeah, you're right. They're very well coached, obviously. But it remains to be seen, I guess. They have not too bad of a schedule, I guess. Some gimmies there, but yeah.
Zach, what do you have the Rams as?
I don't think they're going to be very good. I like their coach, like you guys say. I think Sean McVay is a great coach, but I just don't think the Rams. I just don't see it. Cooper Kupp's getting up there. Matt Stafford, probably not that great. Probably doesn't have much left in the tank. He got his Super Bowl.
Yeah, his career is sad.
And honestly, not just him, the Rams got their Super Bowl because it was like 3 or 4 years of trading away every draft pick for like the next however many years. And doing all this and that and signing this guy and that guy to try and get a Super Bowl, try to bring a ring to LA, and they did it. So I think at this point it's low-key kind of rebuild mode for them. Other than Aaron Donald, they don't really have a lot going on defense, and they're not going to get rid of him just because if he doesn't want to leave there, he's not gonna
No.
A, because he's a staple to the team, and B, because if Aaron Donald tells you he wants to stay somewhere, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay there. You're not gonna tell that guy no. But yeah, I don't see it being that great. If Stafford can come in and provide like a decent year, if he still has something in the tank, I could see them maybe getting up to like 7 or 8 wins, but as it stands now, I think they're about a 5-win team.
Yeah, that's
Very well
fair.
could be. I could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys want to move on to the Seahawks? They got them 10-win team, fairly competitive like they were last year, but yeah, nothing too special. They're obviously well coached. Pete Carroll gets them riled up because that's the kind of coach he is, but yeah, I don't know if Gino's gonna have another great year like that, but they do have some talent for sure.
Zach, what do you think?
I think they're going to be pretty good. I don't think they have the most favorable schedule. I have them losing some of their tougher games, but pretty much beating everybody they should, and even some of the games that might be a bit of a question mark. I think their receiver room is just about as good as anybody's. Maybe not the best, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett, sneakily, like one of the most consistent receivers of the last few years. DK Metcalf, everybody knows about him. I think he has a decent year this year. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is in an awesome spot as a rookie.
Did just break his wrist, though.
And a top draft pick to come in and learn. If Geno, it honestly, it all comes down to Geno for me because the Seattle defense is not that great. Let me go check their PFF rankings.
It's kind of like, they're a 10-win team. They could be better.
It wasn't impressive. I got their offensive line right here. I don't think their offensive line is projected to be that great either. Yeah, their offensive line is projected 30th.
Oh,
I don't think their defense is projected a lot higher. But I do think that in a league like currently 23rd on defense, I do think that in the league, the way it is right now, I think they can contend if Geno is going to continue to do what he did last year, which I think he will. I think he's been in the league long enough, learned a lot, kind of paid his dues for being a bit of a cocky rookie and talking a little bit of shit when he first got in the league. But
I was always an eye on him.
Now he's back.
Jets, but I'm glad he's actually resurrected his career.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure he was drafted by Rex Ryan.
That sounds right.
Who that was.
Yeah.
I have the Seahawks 14-3 winning the division. I think their defense goes up a step. They did draft Devon Witherspoon at pick number 5 and outside linebacker Derek Hall out of Auburn in round 2, pick 37. Their running back room is pretty good. Kenneth Walker going into his second year. Did have a few nagging injuries recently in training camp and hasn't been active much, but he is back and hopefully can stay healthy. He did have a few injuries last season, I think groin or hamstring, one or the other. The receiving core, like Zach said, super talented, one of the best in the league. I think Njigba's gonna.
Nice too.
Yeah, I think Njigba's gonna be really good. He's looked pretty impressive in preseason, which doesn't say much because preseason.
Right.
But I'm sure he's gonna be pretty good. The 3 losses I have for the Seahawks are at Bengals, at Cowboys, and at Tennessee. They dropped the ball late in the season against them. I think their pass defense is going to be really good. I think they're just going to be back in form, and I think they're only going to get better over the next couple of years.
I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, 14-3 is a tall ask, but a lot of these games I just see the Seahawks just tearing teams apart on offense this year. I think the receiving core is too good not to, and they always have solid tight end depth there. I believe what's his name is Dulich, or am I thinking of the Broncos?
I can't remember.
I know they had Will Disley last year.
I would imagine he's still there. I don't remember him leaving.
All right, guys, we're going to leave the NFC West and go on over to Brady and Reed's home division, the NFC North.
Now we're going to get started on the NFC North, a division I am very excited to talk about, being a Vikings fan. And I'm going to start off with the Vikings. I have the Vikings going 13-4. Their only losses being at the Eagles, home game against the 49ers Monday night. They lose a Monday night game at home against the Bears. And then the very last game of the year, they lose in Detroit. I think Brian Flores is going to be a huge upgrade to the defense. I think he can make the middle of the pack. Second year for Kirk Cousins in Kevin O'Connell's system. Switching up a little bit and going more 12-man personnel. They signed Josh Oliver. A little bit more 49er style. Run the ball, running back by committee. They signed Jordan Addison. He's looked great. They traded mid-season for T.J. Hawkinson last year. Justin Jefferson, greatest receiver in the NFL. Madison, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. And Ty Chandler. Just a very solid running back room. Dwayne McBride.
Yeah,
As
I'm
far
very
as
excited to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk about this division as well, being a Vikings fan myself. Uh, Vikings, I'm back and forth on this team. I really want to drink the Kool-Aid and, watching Brian Flores and his defense over training camp, I am high on them. I have them going 12-5, but I will say this, I could easily see them going 5-12 too, just because how young the defense is, this unknowns, the interior offensive line is a big question mark, and Kirk remaining healthy is going to be key too, because Ed Ingram was just so
Interior line on the
walking
offense
board.
is the most.
Yeah,
it's the biggest
but,
question mark.
Yeah, but I have them going 12-5 though, and winning the division. Actually, that's going to be good enough for the 1 seed in the NFC. Because the only losses I have them are at home against the Chiefs, Monday night against the Niners, a weird game at Denver, and Cincinnati, and they split with the Lions as well. Very last game. Some pretty tough teams are going to have to play, but yeah, I think they're going to win the division and somehow back their way into the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're going to get the number 1 seed too. I have them 13-4 along with the 49ers, and I have them beating the 49ers on Monday night.
That's pretty much a decider right there.
Obviously, I have them. Yep. And honestly, their schedule isn't. It's not the hardest.
Yeah,
it's not that
their first
bad.
5 are going to be a big question.
There's a lot of very winnable games. So there's of course some challenges on there, but I think you kind of expect that because as we've gone through all these divisions now, I think one thing we've probably all realized is there's not like a lot of terrible teams. There's a lot of teams that could probably surprise you any week.
For sure, any given Sunday.
Yeah, besides the interior line, that offense is going to look absolutely amazing, I think, this year. And as long as the defense can be middle of the pack, it's an easy 13-win team. I don't think they'll have as many one-score game wins as they did last year.
I certainly hope not.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Reed. I think Brian Flores makes a huge difference on your defense. I think you guys go from a pretty low ceiling defense to potentially high ceiling defense. I don't think you guys will hit the high ceiling, but I think the ceiling is there.
Don't play with my emotions. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
We shall.
Well, Packers I have Packers I have being the worst team in the division at 3-14. Maybe Jordan Love can play football. Yet to be seen. But I just don't think they're going to have they barely had a decent year last year with Aaron Rodgers, and I think with Jordan Love just coming in, it's not going to be quite the same. Regardless of how well they drafted, I think they are, for once in the last however many years, going to be at the bottom, going to have to work their way back up, and I don't think Jordan Love is that next generational QB. I don't think they're that lucky. If it is third time's the charm, I don't know what I'll do. I hope not.
I would agree with you, Reed. I don't think Jordan Love's going to be that good. And I don't think the Packers are going to be that good. I have them 2-15. I don't think the defense is going to be that great. I don't think their weapons are that great. They have a nice running back tandem. They might have one of the better running back tandems, but they're both getting up there in age. They're not getting any younger. Their weapons just aren't great. And like Reed said, people say they drafted good and whatever, but even if you draft great, that's one thing. If you draft really good onto a team where you've got a bunch of veteran players and you're contending and it's a great spot for them to learn, a lot of rookies don't do good coming in playing with I don't know, do they draft receivers? If they draft receivers coming in playing with a rookie quarterback that might not be that good, maybe a coach that's got a year or two left if he doesn't figure something out, it just I don't buy the Packers, not even a little bit. 1-5 in division. They're 1 win. In division, let's see. I got them beating the Chargers, and who else? Where's the other one? Oh, you guys. In Lambeau.
I also have them at the bottom of the division, but I will say this: they aren't going to be as bad as y'all think they will be. Even though the record I have them at 5-12, I think they could be an 8-9 win football team if things go their way. And I'm not saying Jordan Love is going to be a really great quarterback, but that's still a solid football team, well coached. But it's just going to be a tough year for them, bouncing into a new era of quarterback play. And well, the jury's still out on Jordan. I mean, he has looked decent, but that's preseason. Has he played preseason this year? I'm not quite sure. Last year he did for sure too, but
I'm not sure either. I just want to say, but there is 0% chance that they win 8 games. 0% chance that there's no way.
Yeah, I don't believe they can.
I think they could, but I'll stay on the side.
I don't see a shadow, any kind of realm, or
they're not going to be the worst. They're not going to be in
where they
position to draft Caleb Williams, because that would just be a disaster for Vikings fans. Honestly, them being middle of the pack would be just fine with me. I can't have them being super bad. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a college quarterback. Lots of guys look really good in college and come to the NFL. And
that is true.
Don't do anything special.
That is true, but I mean, it's like once in every 5 years you see a quarterback that's generational talent, and Caleb Williams is that dude. I'll put some money on that as well.
Yeah.
I'll put some money on that. That dude is special.
Yeah.
But not much else to say about Green Bay. I mean, fuck Green Bay. So.
Agreed.
Yeah, not much else to say. Lions, I have 10-7. I think they have a good year. I have them making the playoffs as the 7 seed. I have them starting off the season kind of rough, back and forth, and they finish really strong, winning their last 4 out of 6.
Okay. Yeah, I don't buy the hype at all. At all. I have them at 6-11. They'll drop their first 2 games, and then, they'll win their next 4, and they'll look, oh yeah, the Lions are for real 4-2, and then they'll just kind of trade wins and losses, and yeah, it's just, I don't buy them at all.
Wait. So what was your record for Green Bay?
5-12.
And you have 6-11 for Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I will bet you there's at least a 3-game difference
Between those two?
I'll bet you money. I'll fuck it. I'll go 4-game difference between their record in favor of Detroit.
Keep in mind though, Detroit was the only defense that was better than Minnesota's last year, and you're relying on Jared Goff to have another decent year, and Dan Campbell is Dan Campbell, and the Lions are the Lions. That's all I'm gonna say.
Jared Goff is a decent quarterback,
for sure.
I feel like you can count on him to have a decent year, because that's just right.
A decent year, he's been back to
They've got a great offensive line around them. They've got good weapons.
He's been trading
defense that was trending up at the end of last year. Their defense was I think it was 28th or lower going in week 8 or whatever week it was. It was somewhere right there in the middle of the year where they turned everything around and started making noise and stuff. It was because their defense went from very bottom to middle of the pack, kind of like what we're talking about with the Vikings. That's kind of like what Detroit's defense did last year. And if they can maintain where they trended up to, Detroit's going to be a tough team to play.
They haven't made the playoffs in almost 10 years, and they haven't won the division since it was called the Central. I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't think they're going to win the division. I have them at 10 wins.
10, I don't see them being a play.
No, excuse me, 12. 12 wins.
Ooh.
Oh
Excuse
my
me.
god. Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, 12-5. I have them losing to the Seahawks at home, at the Ravens, at Chargers, the Bears, and then Week 18 to you guys. And then so I guess
Sorry.
as opposed to who I've got them losing to, let's look at who I got them beating. I had them beating the Chiefs week 1 on Thursday night.
I'm so sorry. I read this wrong. I have the Lions at 8 and 9. I was reading the wrong division. Or not wrong team. Yeah, 8 and 9. Two.
No worries. I don't even. What did you say? What were you saying before that? Okay.
So 2 wins better.
Okay.
2 wins better.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're an 8-win team. I apologize. I was reading the Bears.
8 and 9. I can see much more
But
realistic.
I could also see them going 6
yeah.
wins just because of the unknowns and the Lions being the Lions. But yeah, 8 wins. They'll be a average team for sure.
I got them beating the Chiefs week 1 on Thursday Night Football. I just feel like they're going to come out strong. Dan Campbell's just a very hype coach. That's kind of what he does. His thing. I feel like he's going to have his guys ready to go. I feel like some of the Chiefs players might be a little tired. Maybe not tired. That's the wrong word. But just not all there. Maybe mentally yet. Maybe not fully checked into the season. I guess would be a better way to put that.
The Chiefs.
And I just think at Thursday night, the Lions show up at Arrowhead and upset them. But I think they lose the next week to the Seahawks. I think they beat the Falcons and the Packers, the Panthers, the Bucs. All pretty given based off what I've said in this podcast. The Raiders, the Packers again, the Saints, the Bears, the Broncos, the Vikings, the Cowboys. So that stretch of 3 right there, I feel like is the only game that really is even pushing it. And I do think they get a game against you guys.
Yeah, I have them splitting with us.
Oh, yeah.
Each winning their home games. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Chiefs are going to be pretty motivated and they'll be fired up. It'll be a competitive game, but with how bad the Chiefs defense is, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions upset them. For sure.
Lions lose their first 2.
Did you guys see?
Do what now?
What did you say?
Lions lose their first 2 for me.
Yeah, same here.
I got them at 1-1. But slightly off topic. Did you guys see the thing where Jason Kelsey was getting into it with a teammate or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Just recently, him and Travis both done that this year. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe check out their podcast, see if they're upset about something.
Yeah.
On their periods, I don't know.
Probably. They're annoying.
Maybe Jason's getting jealous. Maybe Jason's getting jealous because Travis is getting all the bitches.
I mean, if you look at the 2, you wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I guess.
I don't know if you'd be surprised, but it's just like, well, one obviously got the handsome gene, and one obviously just got like the more just brute guy.
Well,
gene,
also,
I guess. I don't know.
Jason's probably going to lose some weight after his football career is over. He doesn't have to play a lineman, so, who knows?
He'll definitely slim down for sure. Most of them do.
Yeah, for sure.
And he wants to do media and stuff, so he definitely will.
Good at that.
But moving forward to the Bears, how are we feeling about the Bears? I got them 6-11. What do you guys
exactly what I had
Same.
when I was mistaken.
6-11.
Yep, all at 6-11.
All right, so since we all got them the same record, why don't we quickly go through the games we have them winning?
Okay, I can start off. I have them beating the Packers and Bucks, and then the Raiders in Week 7,
Okay.
Panthers on a Thursday night, and then Cardinals and Falcons in Week 16 and 17.
Okay, mine's
Okay.
different. A
Yeah,
little bit.
I have some similarities.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Reed.
Just like Brady starts, win over the Packers and Bucks. They win against the Commanders, the Raiders. They beat the Vikings Week 12 Monday night. And then the last game. Yeah. And then last win is the Cardinals.
Okay. I got them beating the Packers just like you guys. The Commanders, the Raiders, the Lions, the Cardinals, and the Packers.
Okay, pretty similar. Yeah, no, I mean Justin Fields.
Yep, for the most
Justin
part.
Fields might take another step, but that's still a bad football team.
And they to the Bears' defense, they've made some efforts to try and get him some weapons. I still don't think they have the best weapons there, but they are better. It's better than last year.
Yeah,
for sure.
they signed really good
Um,
free agents and they drafted pretty well, and we'll see how it all pans out. But they should be a pretty decent team this year. I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Justin Fields is the guy. A lot of delusional Bears fans think he is. He's better than Kirk
I
Cousins,
think
yada
Justin
yada.
Fields will be pretty good.
He could
I
be,
can't stand it.
but
He
he
could end
really
up
needs to
being a
improve
Jalen
his
Hurts
passing.
type if he, pulls it around. Taking that third year leap with Fields. I could see him being a Jalen Hurts type quarterback, but I could also see him just remaining ass. So we'll find out a lot this year.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't because I feel like I dislike the Bears almost as much as you guys do, and they're not even my division rival. I can't stand the
They're
Bears.
just annoying their whole fan base.
But I do think Justin Fields. I think he's gonna have a decent year, and I think even though I have him 6-11, I think they're gonna be one of those friskier bad teams that like you really have to watch out. Like if they get a bounce or a call go their way, they could have 4 more wins on and be close to a 10-win team. One of those teams we kind of look back at the end of the year like, damn, if they get that call at the end of that game that was missed, or if their kicker doesn't miss this field goal, or if Justin Fields doesn't miss this throw, yeah.
For sure.
Sorry, I thought my phone was dying there for a second, but yeah, I could definitely see them being a decent team, but I just realistically probably closer to 6-11. We all had 6-11, right?
Yep.
That's right, because we all went through them. Alrighty. Anything else on the NFC North, guys?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I just want to throw a little tidbit in. I think the Vikings got to steal the draft. Well, technically, undrafted free agent Ivan Pace Jr. I think.
I
yeah.
should have known.
Yeah, you should have known this was coming. I think he's got huge upside. I can't believe he went undrafted, and he's going to be a huge part of the defense this year. I think he has, even though he probably won't, a lot of potential to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think, well, as far as, sorry.
Jeez,
Let me rephrase that.
down.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, my God.
Sorry,
All right.
little slip up there. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
you're on, man. I'll take
Oh,
2.
man. I was going to roast the shit out of you, dude.
Oh, man.
You better.
I'm sorry,
you better
Defensive
hope he's
Rookie
the
of the
next
Year.
good thing. Whoa.
Anyways,
Um,
I think he's going to look really good in Brian
no.
Flores' scheme, and he's looked that far in training camp and preseason. I think he's going to look really good with the first team, and it's going to just be chaos.
Yeah, he's sending the fantasy chat memes that don't even make sense about the dude. Like, I don't even get it. It's like, chill, this, that, and point arrows like he does this, and there's, like, no point to the meme. I'm like, Reed, why are you sending this here? He's like, I gotta spread this Ivan Pace propaganda.
Yep. Got to push it.
I guess I respect it.
Yep.
But whole time he's doing that, I'm gonna be screaming bust. So, bust.
Can't be a bust if you're undrafted.
No way.
Yeah, fair enough. Facts.
But you can
Yeah, the
still
last
talk-
time-
But Reed's hyping him up like he's
You can
a
still
first
talk
round
that
draft
shit
pick,
to
though.
Reed.
He was projected
You
second,
call him a bust, though.
and he went
Okay,
undrafted.
so as far as Reed is concerned, to me he's a bust. But in general, I'm kind of rooting for the Vikings. I actually low key kind of like your guys' team. They're, I guess, probably like a top 3 or 4 team for me of teams I like. So I'd like to see them be good. Probably at the NFC. I'd rather see them than the Eagles or anyone else, honestly. So
Yeah,
it'd be cool to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl.
sure would.
Absolutely.
And that way I don't gotta listen to you guys complain about not having any Super Bowl victories to your name anymore.
I'll probably cry if they win a Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I hope.
I'll
I
cry
hope
if they
I'm
go to
there for
one.
that. I know for a fact Reed's gonna cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the moment. If we're like blowing a team out like Seattle did against Denver that one year,
Probably
then I
not,
probably
yeah.
won't. We're like, fuck yeah, just like a. But if it's like a classic
Oh,
Super
field
Bowl,
goal like as time
oh,
expires
man.
or something like
just
that.
a back and forth drag out game where you're just like shit. Both teams deserve it, like a last year's Super Bowl in a way. It was so close, and like it ended in like a field goal. So yeah,
Brady,
Yeah, honestly.
I would bet just winning to go to the Super Bowl would make you cry.
going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think I'd be too anxious to cry because I think what about what's next.
Yeah, just everything going
Yeah, honestly.
It would be a lot.
You don't
to
think
take
you
in
just
and
cry like
process,
initial
for
tears
sure.
of happiness that you're going?
Wait, are you talking just about
Just-
any Super Bowl
just-
in general
just-
or a Vikings?
just
Super
getting
Bowl?
to
No,
the
like
Super
Vikings
Bowl?
going. Yeah,
Probably
just like
not.
winning the
Probably.
NFC Championship. No?
No,
I think-
probably
I
not.
think you might.
I don't think so.
I think it
I've
might
seen
be
a lot of
pretty
I've seen a lot
emotional.
of teams. I've seen a lot of my teams win championships or even get there, you know. And I'm the biggest LeBron fan, and I've never cried in any of his championships. But the Vikings would be special for me because that's one sports team that hasn't won. But getting there wouldn't be enough for me personally. Like, the job wouldn't be done. Like, all I would be thinking about would be like, cool, hell yeah, I'd be hyped up. But if we lose another Super Bowl, that's 5 Super Bowl losses, 0-5, and that's
Yeah.
all I would be thinking about. But also,
You guys got to switch teams if that
I
happens.
never. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, if the NFC Championship game was a crazy ending, like a Minneapolis Miracle, if that was the NFC Championship game going to the Super Bowl, maybe, you know, that was crazy. But it'd have to be a spectacular ending like that, probably, for me to cry. But Super Bowl, though, win, yeah, for sure. You can expect that. But, yeah. Hopefully one day.
Just one before I die.
Alright,
Yep, yes, sir. Skull.
well, if you guys don't have anything else on the NFC North, I think you can probably go ahead and plug your guys' socials real quick, and we can go ahead and get on out of
Yeah,
here.
you can follow me at Brady Feldkamp on X.
I am at min _sports fan on X.
You guys are so lame for calling it X.
Okay, you wanted to cut that
So
out?
lame.
Well, that's what it's fucking called now.
No, we don't gotta cut it out.
No.
Just remember to call it Twitter like a real adult. Act like you have some culture, dude. Brady.
man, dude.
I don't.
Remember. Don't forget where we've been, what we've been through.
Fair enough.
Don't let them take that away from us.
Fair enough.
My Twitter account didn't die for nothing.
It did, actually. It's dead for...
Shout out Jill
Yeah,
Biden.
thank you. Joe and Elon.
Jill, not Joe. It's her fault, not his. Well, I guess it's his fault too, but... Anyways, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you much for tuning in. I think next time we'll be here with some playoff predictions, and that will wrap up our preseason predictions for the year, and hopefully be ready for week 1 and ready to go and enjoy some football. See you guys next time.